Well, many thanks for staying with us. Time for our last conversation this Wednesday. And on our lifestyle segment, we want to focus on tours and travel. And this is after the new containment measures that were issued by the president the other Friday. So how have been tours and travel companies surviving? That is what we want to find out. On set, I'm joined by Raymond Cheriot. Hope I did pronounce that correctly.
Cheriot.
Cheriot.
Yes. It's actually right.
Yeah. All right. So he's the CEO of Uray Safaris.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just begin from the most difficult part, because I mean this is the second time, and when we were having this conversation off air, we were saying that just when tours and travel companies or people in the tourism industry were trying to pick up again, that was in October, November, thereabout, then again, like what, 3 months later, another lockdown.
Right.
How are you picking up?
Well, you're not picking up really, because
it's difficult.
Interestingly, we had a lot of hopes in 2021, and we kept thinking that this 2021 is a time that we're going to break all these stories about getting stuck and all that. Because last year we had a projection of 3 years down the line, that is a time that we will come back to the fold. Yeah. But comes 2021 and close the doors. Again. Go home, sit and watch. It's crashing. And this is close the doors with no solutions, as you say. Yes, absolutely. I mean, you just told, no, you guys, it's about time you close the door, don't come out, don't go anywhere, just sit and watch. And there's nothing as crushing as that. And when you're in the top leadership of your organization, and you're not able to go beyond what your customers would be expecting you to do, it's not one of those things that anyone would want to experience. It's basically like the president of Kenya being told, close Kenya, and you have no solution. It's like Kenya being isolated, being placed in a place, and you're being told, don't move. All right? Don't do anything. All right, yeah. Just like recently when UK said, we don't want guys who are coming in from Kenya. Yeah. I mean, how painful can it get? As to a country. Yes, to a country. You're being told, no, you guy, don't come, just stay there. All right. We understand, of course, that we have to take measures, but can we take measures that we have we have control over? You don't just say sit and you have nothing to eat. You don't just say close the door and you don't have ventilations. You don't just say don't move and you don't have an option. I mean, naturally, you want to have your body moving around. All right. Yeah, true. And that is how painful it is. Guys have lost jobs, and losing jobs doesn't just the people that you've employed, even the residents or your office locations, because you have to close the office, go home, and you deny the tenant, or rather the landlord, your rent. So then it also goes to them, and so it has a spiral effect. You tell me I don't have business, then how do I pay for the office space? They go home. And when they go home, then the landlord goes home. Then we have no one doing business, because essentially the landlord also has employees that they need to serve. Sure. And those employees are families that they need to feed. Yeah. Guys who are working with Uray Safaris, they also have families that they need to feed. So it's a sort of. And you know, Ray, it's what we were saying some time back is that it is, or rather it was a difficult time being a president of this country at that point, because I mean, you're sort of like stuck between saving lives and the economy. But let's come back to you at Uray Safaris as the CEO. Have you managed to retain all your employees? No, how do you retain all the employees? I mean, if you're cancelling out all the trips that are supposed to be there, if you're cancelling all hotel bookings, and basically we get earnings from those hotel bookings, we get earnings from all the trips that we're having, how then do we get to pay those people who are sticking around? Okay. So basically what we've done is that we've given them a freelance operation. If you get someone who would want to come in, let's read together. All right? So we're calling a scale down. So you've scaled down. You're still with us? Yeah. But let's all of us tackle this. You're basically like you're under attack. And being under attack means as I do the marshalling, you also do the marshalling, and we all get to see whether we're going to earn a living or not. All right.
So, okay, fine. So is it
So
like
it's a scaling down.
you've just
basically.
scaled down
Yes.
for this period?
Yes.
All right.
And then we have, of course, that is the only sensible thing that we can do.
Clearly.
Yeah, I mean, there's another option. Here in a situation where the government said close the door and that's it. You were expecting that they'll say close the door and
give a solution, perhaps. When you talk about that, I mean, just the way we're saying again, when you look at these different industries, the tourism industry, those in hospitality, the entertainment, yes, we understand that this COVID has definitely affected different industries, and even after this new measures again, all industries, if I may mention, but these specific ones, there's really like a hard hit on them. It's an extremely hard hit area. I mean, businesses are affected, yes, but the guests who are 100% affected are the guests who are doing tours and travel. Because it relies heavily on moving around. 100% on the movement. Yeah. That is only, which has been restricted. It's actually what you call, tours and travel is a social business. All right. It being a social business, then it involves a lot of people. And if there are no people to serve, then that's it. You are actually crippled. You don't have business. You don't have business because if you've been crippled, then that's it. Then you are at the mercies of what would happen. Right? You just now have to do a lot of things that are conventionally not within your business areas. Yeah. And it's quite an unfortunate thing. Because like I told you last year, we had a lot of hopes in the 2021. It's only that now we didn't want to sing double like we did in 2020 because in 2020 we didn't specify what double we were expecting, so we got double losses. All right, but this year we just said we are optimistic. We're seeing things coming out right, basically based on what happened in December, October, November, thereabout. All right. But I would say, and without throwing blame, we have a lot of people who act irresponsibly, and those people are politicians. These are the people who gather everyone and anyone to come for a gathering, and no one, if you look across, there's not a single person in their gatherings who are putting on masks. Totally different from when I've an organized trip. I just have to make sure that every single customer that is coming in has a mask on, they've sanitized, and they have space. So if you're traveling, then you're keeping space that is safe for everyone. No one wants to die. Everyone wants to live life that is healthy. So then they're very cautious. But in a political rally, you cannot ask anyone who is next to you to move. And because Kenyans are either for the love of their politicians or for the love or for the lack of doing something else, they just want to come around and listen to them. And they have to be there. And they have to be there. Okay. And that is a lifestyle as well that politicians define. And without fear of contradiction, it starts from the top. As it trickles down. Yes. So we have everyone else who is saying, okay, fine, I want my constituents to come in, so I need to call for a rally and guests come in, another one comes in there, another one comes in there, and no one really thinks about what would happen thereafter. Because at the end of the day, after the rally, everyone else, they take care of themselves. They go home, and if I picked it from Doreen, then I take it to my family, then my family takes it to the other family, through children. This is how it spreads. It's how it spreads. All right. Now, we'll come back to the government interventions in a short while, but let's go back a bit to Uri Safaris, because, again, you just mentioned that you also are organizing trips, even up till now. You have an oncoming trip on 10th April, and this is a time where we know that there are no gatherings, and like you mentioned, people in tours and travel is like a social kind of business. How are you doing this? No, this is what we need to do, and like it's true, we have a hiking trip to Mount Longonot, to be specific, on the 10th. And first, we are making sure that we have space, enough space within the vans, or the rosas that we're using. Make sure that everyone is masked up, and the vehicles you're using get thoroughly sanitized. So we spray it before we travel. It's an exercise thing, so people will be walking. We will not have people who are gathering and talking to themselves. We are climbing the mountain, the Mount Longonot,
And so people are walking. We're not, it's not like a rally or it's a church where people get stuck.
In one place.
In one place. We are moving, so we have a lot of space and a lot of fresh air. I don't ask anyone to go out. In fact, it's much better when you're just out there and breathing. You get to the top.
The fresh air.
Yes. Go to the top and look at how the world is, all right? When you come down, we do a stretch. People stretch, they stretch their muscles, do exercise, flex your joints and all that stuff, and get home. And we're not going to a restaurant to eat. We will fix our own food, all right? And just make sure that everyone else is safe. Everyone is conscious. Even though for those guys who've signed up, they're conscious. They want to know, is it safe? People ask, is it safe for kids? Is it safe for families? Right? These are things that people need to embrace.
Okay. Yep. When you talk about the safety and even people asking whether it's safe for me to even be there, I want to imagine that these are people that do not even know each other.
All right.
Yeah? So about a group of how many persons are you carrying along?
In a roster of 27, we are carrying 15 people.
Okay. So that means that also the number has reduced?
Of course, you can't have everyone else in that
on
process.
board,
so,
yeah.
And that is where the misfortune, I would say, is, because the vehicle needs to be taken care of. At the same time, I need to take care of your pocket.
Yeah.
So I can't ask you for more, and I need to have this vehicle done. So basically, what we're doing is not even about making money. It's about getting people moving around and being able to exercise their bodies and yeah, just be themselves. We call it kujiachilia. Do it.
Because also, again, staying at home in this period, you know, sometimes doing nothing.
Let me tell you, Doreen, sitting at home, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5.
A month, 2 months, 3 months.
Not even a month. You feel like you're being suffocated. You feel like you just need to be out there.
Yeah.
And it gives a lot of good mental health. It makes you think right. It makes you really look at yourself and say, hey, this is Ray, this is me, right? It gives you a chance, Doreen, to say, okay, fine. I've been out there, you get your brain working, you have you're thinking, not thinking about anything that affects you negatively, but everything that is positive. You get what I mean?
Yes.
And that is what this is all about. It's not about going to make money, because there's no money that we're making here. I can tell you that for sure. It's on cost. We just need to get guys moving and being able to be themselves, exercise their body. And that is the kind of lifestyle that I think we need to adopt.
Okay. Yeah. But also, again, when you look at it, this is some of the things that you are employing at Ure, at least to continue staying afloat a bit, if I can mention, because, again, you look at many tours and travel companies, they have shut down.
Absolutely.
They have closed down.
That is the truth. So now, I think it's all about now thinking
outside the box.
Outside the box. You just need to think, should I just stick here or can I do something else? I've seen other tour companies who ventured into training, right?
Yes.
And because one of them is Kudu Safaris. They do trainings for upcoming tour operators and all that stuff, all right?
Just to be able to do something.
Just to be able to do something and to be able to share out. Because so now this is one of the moments that we are sharing. This is one of the moments that we're sharing what we know, what we do, what is it that we shouldn't do and all that stuff, all right? Yeah. And that is what life is. That is what gives us a chance, or that is what we're looking forward to every single day. All right? It gives us hope. It makes us a people who would want to live and just enjoy life.
Live and just enjoy life.
Yes.
Now, when you look at that, and also again the fact that there are so many tours and travel companies that are coming up, especially of late, and we might attribute this to the fact that we want people to start loving and embracing local and domestic tourism. But at Ure Safaris, what do you think sets you apart and makes you different from all these other tours and travel companies?
All right. One of the things that we have put in as a company, as Ure Safaris, is first of all, one of the key things that we know for sure where you travel is you need to make memorable moments. All right. And that is an area where you invest a lot. You just make sure that you get to enjoy your money as you should be and have that memorable moment, because 10 years down the line, you want to look at yourself and you say, oh, what happened? All right. We need you to talk about your experience And in the process of talking about your experience, then, of course, then you talk about us. That is, so it's not about the money. Our focus is on you. Because
as the individual who's coming on.
We is seeking to partner with you. So we want to be you. We want to be in your shoes. What exactly are you experiencing? Are you happy with it, or you're not happy with it?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So the focus is on individualized travel.
All right.
Every single person that we have that has traveled with us, they will tell you for sure, this is it. Right. We might not be as big as the guys who came in earlier. All right. But I can tell you for sure, 5 years, 10 years down the line, we'll be at the top. Because that is what we are. That is who we are. That is Yuri Safaris.
That's some level of optimism there, which is very good.
Absolutely. And I can tell you for sure, every other moment in the coming years, guys will be talking about Yuri Safaris.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, Ray, when you talk about some of the issues that especially affect the tours and travel, business, especially here in the country, just away from COVID-19, there's also that fact of lack of us as Kenyans, if I can mention, or even Africans as a whole. We really do not take travel as a priority, which could also be one of the downsides in that particular space or industry. But for you as a person who's been in this business, what is your greatest motivator of wanting to just continuously be in the travel business?
What I can tell you for a fact, Doreen, is the biggest motivator, of course, is that we want to be better than who we are.
Okay.
That is the biggest motivator. We want to be the better than who we are. And people always think that traveling is expensive.
A lot.
A lot of people think actually traveling is expensive.
Yeah.
But who told you that you must travel? There are a lot of sites that people can visit, even within Nairobi here, that people don't know. People need to just be on the look and say, okay, fine. Because you can spend 1,000 shillings. That 1,000 shillings, you would use it to buy milk and all that stuff, and it gets finished. But you'll have, if you spend that 1,000 shillings in, say, taking a walk in Karura Forest, for example, it gives you that memory of what it is, what nature is, and all that stuff.
Yes.
And it's an investment in you, right? You don't need to have thousands, hundreds of thousands to be able to travel, right? You just need to look out for options. Like what we're doing is that we're not just saying, fine, you must have 10,000 shillings to travel with us. You can have 1,000 shillings, 1,500, 2,000 shillings to travel, and we square it out, and you take advantage of that. I think it's a perception of people that traveling is, or someone would think, okay, fine, why would I really go to Mount Longonot?
Why should I make it a priority?
Yes, someone will say, why would I really want to go to Longonot? Yeah, right? The health, the networks that comes along with it. Because in that particular trip, we have business people. We have people who are working in a certain organization. You get to exchange ideas. When you go and do a team building, then you get to understand, so Ray does this as well. Joe does this. Or Doreen does this. Right?
Yes.
So by so doing, then you are enriching yourself. They say your net worth is your network.
True.
How do you create a network when you're sitting at home? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Because you also can, with 1,000 shillings, then you can buy something that will go into your stomach, and the following day is not there. You still need another 1,000 shillings. But if you spend 1,000 shillings in taking up a trip, then it sticks with you forever. It's like knowledge. It's never going to be erased from you.
And it's also part of what you're trying to do is at least to just try and change that narrative or perception, most especially for us as Africans. And again, there's always that issue of it is expensive, just as the way you've mentioned. So do you feel like a good number of us may really not want to embrace travel because it's expensive, or because it's just not a priority for us?
I think it's just not priority.
Okay. It's not the expensive part of it.
It's not the expensive part, really, because now, look here, Doreen, we are saying, I'll give an example. We have well-based migration
Yeah.
coming up in. We all know that
It usually happens yearly.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. And we are saying now you can start saving 200 shillings, 500 shillings, 100 shillings towards that particular period.
Yeah.
So you just need to say, I want to travel in September. All right. So that 1,000 shillings or 100 shillings or that amount of money that you can save. And you're giving options. You're saying, hey, deposit 100 shillings, we'll keep it for you until that time when you'll need it, because you'll need it, then we go and travel, all right? Someone will say, so how much would I need to spend for 3 days, 2 nights in the Masai Mara so that I'm able to watch that? You don't have to go to stay in high-end camps. We have budget camps that are equally comfortable, that would equally accommodate you. What do you need to do? You wake up in the morning, go for game drive. By the time you get back, you're so tired, you just need to sleep.
Yeah.
All right? Get into your tent. For 3 days, 2 nights, spend 9,000 shillings, and you get back home.
So also it's a question of understanding your budget, knowing how you can save little by little for that particular travel.
Yes. If someone comes and says, because it's all about self-management, it's all about what you want. But one of the key things that I can tell you for sure, Doreen, is that people don't look at themselves. They look at what is around them. They don't invest in themselves. They want to invest in what is around. And what is around is, what can I go and buy this and I have this? Can I fix that? And then in the process, you forget yourself. You forget who you are. You forget who Ray is. You forget who Doreen is. Right? So one of the things is, if people can get, and this is one of the questions that I asked most recently.
Yeah.
How is your relationship with yourself as a person?
That is also where it needs to start.
That's where it needs to start. Yeah. How is your relationship with yourself? What are the things that you need to do for you? Right? And in the process of you doing those things, then and you have your healthy part coming up, then you get to relate with people that are around you very well. But if your relationship with yourself is bad, then you cannot have a good relationship with those people around you.
Okay.
Because you can't give what you don't have.
All right. So it actually means that we can change this perception about travel and start embracing domestic and local tourism.
Absolutely. But I need to say this, Doreen, that the whole of 2020, from March, a lot of people that we served, a lot of customers that we served are all domestic people. I think people are starting to see. And people got to know new places, right? And traveling means you need to look around yourself and have it embraced, right? For people who are married, for example, if your partner loves traveling, like my wife loves traveling, I used to travel in my mind until she started traveling. Then I saw it. Right? Then now we support it. And we say, fine, can we do stuff together? You get what I mean? So you also can learn from yourselves. Most people travel in their minds. Most people would say, I want to travel. Yes, and Ray, I'm going to travel with you this time around. And they tell you it's going to happen for sure. And they close their eyes and say it's going to happen. Towards the D-Day, the story has changed. Something has come up.
Isn't that what we do oftentimes?
That is what Kenyans do. But I think now they say you put money to where you value.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So start valuing first that. And you say, now I'm going to make my commitment. Start by doing a small deposit and say, hey, you guy, in July, when well-based migration starts going, this is my deposit towards a particular day. And from today, I'll be giving you this.
And you start depositing as early as perhaps as now if you really want it.
If you really want to, you deposit from now. My business is to remind you, hey, Doreen, you still have that trip that is coming. So far you have this much. You have done 3,000 shillings.
Yeah.
We still have 6,000 shillings to go.
Yeah.
All right? You as an individual, you go and sit and you look at yourself and you say, okay, these are the options that I have. I need to buy milk, I need to buy this, and out of this, I need to deposit.
That means you've begun valuing travel and you began prioritizing it.
Absolutely. And you've started valuing yourself. You get?
Yes.
More often than not, when you're doing things, you don't do things that for us. You don't do things for you. Right? And I'm telling you for sure, I'm one of those people who used to travel in the mind. I see this place and I really want to go, and fine, can we go? Most of the travels from 2016 backwards were all driven by my wife. All right?
Yeah.
And out of that value is what we picked, and just about embracing what needs to be happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, anytime we have such kind of conversation, we can never miss talk about domestic tourism, because it is very important for also us to love what we have and go to those places and see how they look like.
Yeah,
you
right.
understand? But again, also there's always that question of, and you've mentioned it here and there, that someone can start saving just little by little on a budget if you intend to travel. But again, there's that question of refund policy. What if on that day, just the way you mentioned, I'm not able to, because I mean, things can happen.
All right.
And sometimes Kenyans would fear, like, what if I save little by little, then I'm not able to? Will this company refund me my money back?
All right. The question is at the end of time? That if you don't travel that day, is at the end of time?
Yes.
Or you'll still be living? Are you still going to be hopeful?
I won't travel.
No, I'm asking. We've said we're traveling on the 5th of July.
Yes, on the 5th of July.
Then on 4th of July, you say you're not going to travel because something has come up.
And I've been saving.
And you have been saving.
Yes.
All right. The question is, would you want to travel after 5th of July?
Perhaps if I say I don't.
All right?
Yes.
Then basically you're killing that dream that you had, that you really need to be.
Right? So there won't be any refund?
So, no, you have your money, because it's your money. We're not investing it. We're not using it for anything.
It was for that particular client.
It was for that particular client, and that is it. All right. Perhaps the only thing is, when we know Doreen is traveling, then we also place bookings to camps. All right. So it's not just money that comes and sits with us. It's just money that transits
to the various areas.
Yes. So if we have given out funds, because we're 100% sure Doreen is traveling.
Yes, this is why she's committing anyway.
I mean, that's the whole reason why.
Yeah.
So then we transition and say, hey, we call Zebra Plains in Masai Mara and say, Doreen will be coming on 4th. Then again on 5th, we call Zebra Plains and we tell Zebra Plains, Doreen will not be coming anymore. All right? There are lots of preparations towards this. There's a vehicle to prepare. There's your tent to be prepared. There's also your food and everything that you will require to be prepared. And all these things are done on your day of travel. All right? And that is why they always say, tell us 7 days in advance. But we understand that that things that could happen that goes beyond your control.
Yes.
Exactly the reason I'm asking you, would you want to travel after that? Because if you want to travel after that, then we would we'd want to tell Zebra Plains that, hey, Doreen will not be traveling this time around, but she's likely to travel after a certain time. Please, for the deposit that we had done for her, can you kindly transfer it? All right? Then it doesn't become a total waste.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And we don't want to kill the dream. We don't want to kill your dream of going to Masai Mara.
And I think that is what makes sense there.
Yes.
So yes, in as much as there's things someone may not have control over and they may need to withdraw, but at the end of the day is, would you still want to do it again? Because that is the whole point.
That is the whole point. The whole point is, it's not about you. It's not about you doing on that particular day.
Yeah.
It's about you. Can we just live the dream?
Yeah. Can we start loving and embracing the local and domestic tourism?
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk a bit about digital space and digital platform, because where we are, and there's a lot of conversation about we might never go back to normal per se, in a sense that we may need to start embracing the new space that we are in, and the digital space for most businesses is the way to go. For you as a person in the travel and tours businesses, how has this helped your business grow, or just people know about it in one way or the other?
I think one of the biggest platforms that has helped us is on social media.
Yeah.
And one of the key things being this is a social business, then people get to know you, and then you transmit whatever you are doing. A number of times when you're in the Mara, we transmit live. We actually do virtual tours. Go there, screen for guys, they get to enjoy that, and have a feel of what is on the ground. Right? That's one of the key things that digital has helped us with this far. Right. Another bit of what we're doing, or what the digital era is helping us with, is reaching out to clients over platforms that enables us to have eye to eye, though it's not physical. Right. And it brings out quite a strong leverage. Right. At the comfort of where you are, you're able to deliver your message, and you are able to convey what needs to be conveyed at that particular moment. That's what digital is doing.
Okay.
And it helps a lot, big time.
So it means like digital is actually one of the things that we need to start focusing on.
Absolutely. Every time when I go to the park for a game drive,
it's on
live.
the digital space.
Yes. Get you around there and get to see it, and you get to feel. Tell you when you go to the Mount Longonot and you're seeing it visually on wherever you are, whether you're using your phone, and you're just imagining how would it have been if I was there, and all that stuff. And that's exactly how we're doing stuff.
And even for those guys who are operating at least.
For those guys who will not be coming, I'd want you to watch how it's happening as you're moving along. Some of those questions will be answered about what are the measures you're doing as you are against this COVID spread and all that stuff. We'll also be able to transmit that. And it helps a lot.
All right. Now, Ray, I'd like you to especially speak perhaps to our viewers who might be watching and they are in this business as you. Because again, you realize that sometimes people can complain a lot, and yes, it is valid from the point in which they're coming from. But then again, also you get to understand that that's not how you can live forever, because also the way we said it, it's sort of like in a hard place where our president was. Again, because you have to save the economy, you have to look out for people's health. But this is where we are. What can you say to those in the tours and travel business in ways in which they can employ, at least to sustain themselves and stay afloat a bit, regardless of what is happening?
All right. What I can tell my colleagues in this particular field is don't despair. That the door's been shut, you're just being told, sit down there and wait. Don't wait. You have to come out and keep looking around. Partner with other guys. One of the key things in this particular industry that I've learned is that partnering is key. You can't
operate by yourself.
You cannot operate as a person.
Okay.
So pooling resources and working together makes everything work simpler for you.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Those people who've been there before, they are able to marshal the numbers. Then you work together. And by so doing, then you are synergizing and now creating space for yourself. But you just can't sit and wait for stuff to happen. It's not going to happen. All right? Especially that we know that we do not have a defined template that we've been given by the government and say, now shut the door and do 1, 2, 3. The story ended at shut the door. Whatever happens is in you, just yourself. All right?
Yes.
So I'm telling my colleagues in tours and travel not to give up. They must stand up and be on their feet, think outside the box, all right? Synergize, work with guys who are in that particular. You can identify who you can work with. Yeah. All right? Personally, as Ure Safaris, we've worked with different people. We've worked with 360 Adventures. We worked with other
tours, travel companies.
Yes.
Okay.
There's we have Ure Escapades that we work with, and that's what makes life. Yeah, right.
All right. I think that's a good place to end it. Just think outside the box and partner with the various companies that you can.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much, Ray, for your time and at least for making us understand what it is that tours and travel companies can do regardless of what you're facing right now.
All right.
And that is how we bring the conversation to a close. I'm Doreen Range from me and on behalf of the entire team that made this show a success. We say thank you so much for watching. Till tomorrow, good morning.
Thank you.